evening, everyone. My name is Tracy Fuller, and I'm the Executive Director of the Plaistow Community YMCA, and I'd like to welcome you to our second annual Commitment to Community Award to honor Norm Major. Can we give him a big round of applause? We're excited to be here and to put the show on the road, but I'd like to introduce our board president, Greg Spiro.
Thank you very much, everyone. I would like to thank everyone for making the effort and to coming to this special event tonight for Norman Major. A lot of thought and a lot of preparing has gone into this, and I would like to take 1 minute to thank all the staff of the YMCA for putting this room together and making this a great night tonight. Also, I would like to thank Arthur Sickle and Sue Sherman for helping out with the logistics tonight and helping us make sure that tonight goes smooth and we're all having a great time tonight. So thank you, Sue. Thank you, Arthur Sickle. We have a wonderful night, a wonderful evening planned. We thank you all for attending. We care about our community, you care about our community, and we want to make sure that that comes out tonight. We have a great dinner tonight, a silent and live auction to support our Y tonight, and finally, a great recognition for Norman Major, and that's why we're here tonight. I'd like to pass. At this time, I would like to pass the microphone to Susan Sherman.
Good evening, everybody. I'll echo what Greg said. We are so thrilled to have the Majors and the whole Major family, all the way down to great-grandchildren here this evening to celebrate an amazing man and his amazing family. It is my great honor to welcome the Plaistow Boy Scout Troop 18 and the Cub Scout Troop 118 for presentation of colors and the national anthem, which will be played by Scout Brady Stack. Please rise. about a round of applause for those great Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. As I know you all well know, Norm and Brenda are big supporters of the Scouts, so are their sons, so I thought it was extremely important that we have representation for the Scouts. They're on their way now to a camp out where this will probably be the nicest area they've been in, because they're going on a wilderness experience, wherever that is. But they're going off, and so I'm so thrilled they were able to come down tonight and do that for us. So, another round.
Thank you, Sue. At this time, I would like to introduce Pastor Stephen Murray from the Rock Church in Plaistow to lead us with the invocation.
Join me in prayer. Lord, I thank you for this great night and for the opportunity we have to come and celebrate the life, the career, the service of a great member of our community. We are grateful for Norm, Lord, and for the ways that he has served our nation, our state, and our town. And Lord, tonight as we remember and recognize his service, we are grateful for the example he has set for us and so many others who look up to him. And we pray blessing, Lord, on the food that we will share, upon the conversations we will enjoy around the tables. Let all that we do tonight bring joy to our hearts and bring glory and honor to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
A night like tonight is impossible without our sponsors, so I want to take a minute and recognize some of our great sponsors who help support this event, including Pinnacle Health, Armanon, Remax, Dunkin' Donuts, Enterprise Bank. I'm looking at the list right now that I can see. Britmac, Jewett Construction, Diesel World, and many more. So we couldn't do a night like tonight without our sponsors. So if you could please give our sponsors a big round of support. Thank you. I would have never thought that in 3 years that we've had this YMCA, that we could have an event like this to really recognize the impact of the community and people in it. This YMCA, in a short amount of time, has been able to do amazing things with the community support. Things like we have over 60 children in our early education center. Sue Sherman wants you to applaud, so you should. This year we're offering for the first time ever a summer learning loss program free to low-income students who will be able to learn from local teachers and enjoy our summer camp. We also give away scholarships. We have teens who come every day after school and they need a safe place to be. So in a short amount of time, our commitment to this community, your YMCA, has made a difference. And the thing I'm most proud of is we give away $100,000 in financial assistance to deserving kids and families. And for all of you here, we can continue to do more with your support. So we're looking forward to having a great night and continuing. We want to not just be here for 3 years, we want to be here for 103 years and more and make a legacy of this community. So thank you.
At this time, I would like to welcome Brian Major to come up and give a couple of thoughts on his dad.
So before I talk about my dad, there are a couple of people here that need to stand up. Kathy Stacy and Nancy Bulldog. Kathy's the Register of Deeds and Nancy's the town treasurer, and today is their birthday. So happy birthday. And before I forget, Brady Stack. His dad's back here. He was the Boy Scout that played on the saxophone, the national anthem. Wasn't he awesome? Now, you'd think that maybe he was a high school student. He just graduated from Pollard School. 5th grader, just finished 5th grade. Talk about confidence, that's pretty awesome. Well, on behalf of my parents, my brothers, and our entire family, can't say how incredibly pleased we are to have so many awesome people out here to honor my dad. He is somebody that has always put family and community first, and has really used his 50 years, the last 50 years, to give back to the community. And when I look out amongst this crowd, I see so many people that have impacted him and have interfaced with him in different ways. I see those that he volunteered with the Lions Club and other civic groups. I see those that he prayed with at Holy Angels, those that he worked with at Western Electric, AT&T, and Lucid, those that he served on boards and committees across this town, those that he cheered with on the sidelines of football games and wrestling meets and baseball games, those that he chaperoned with during Timberlane High School band competitions. And I won't get into the situation in which he was carrying the brand new tuba that John Jacoby had just reconditioned, and he decided to drop it down the stairs of the bus out onto the cement blocks. So we won't get into that, no. Those that he currently serves with at the State House, those that he has hiked and camped with, and that hiking and camping is part of his true passion, his true love, and that's the Boy Scout program. There are some things that some of you might not know about him, about the Boy Scouts. He has coached and mentored over 50 Eagle Scouts along the way. He developed a Packs and Paddles program for the Yankee Clipper Council that never existed. So he would take boys and their parents along these treks in which we'd be out in the wilderness for over a week. And it would just be absolutely wonderful being able to hike, whether it's the mountains of New Hampshire or Vermont or Maine, or going out to Philmont Scout Reservation in New Mexico. He also served the Boy Scouts with the National Jamboree. He was the head of the pioneering program for 6 different jamborees. Now these are held every 4 years, and there are 30,000 scouts that attend those programs. Well, as I think of my dad, I can think of the Scout Law and the 12 adjectives, the 12 points of the Scout Law. As I repeat them, think about whether they truly represent my father or not. I think they do. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. That's Norm Major. So let's all lift our liquid refreshments and have a round of applause for my dad.
At this point in time, I'd like to introduce our very own Senate President from District 22, our district, Senate President Chuck Morse.
You know, I don't know why when I got here, and it just happened again, everybody's thanking me for coming because I wouldn't miss this for the world. My schedule might have been a little tight for the last month or so, but I think the fact that we have the speaker here right now of the House, Sean Jasper, you know, Senate President Bartlett sent me a note that said you need to be there. I had already said I was going to be there, but he's here tonight, and along with him is half the New Hampshire House, because we believe in you now. Now, I just want to make one thing clear, because you announced birthdays. That means that I'm probably the youngest one in the town of Salem that's in politics out of the class of '78. Is that true, Kathy? I got you beat by a few months. But anyhow, I'm happy to be here tonight because I honestly believe this was a historic week in the state of New Hampshire. And there was one person in the room that played an enormous role during that whole time, because what he stands for is honor and respect. And as we went through the process of developing the state budget and talking about tax cuts and talking about where we wanted to take the state of New Hampshire, Norm never left his principles. Never. The whole time he stuck to, you guys are using too much revenue, you're accelerating tax cuts too quick, but he never once challenged me on the fact that I honestly believe he's the most honorable man in the State House. I did bring a Senate resolution. I wrote it a while ago, and I said, if the YMCA is smart, they will make a fortune tonight because of this man. The reality is, when I got here and read the last item that's going to be auctioned tonight, I want to know which 6 people in the room are coughing up the real money to go around the State House with Norm. Because even the reps over there said, maybe we should buy it. That's a true honor, folks, so take advantage of it tonight, and it should benefit the YMCA. This is a New Hampshire Senate resolution. Be it known that New Hampshire Senate extends its congratulations to Representative Norm Major in recognition of being named the 2017 Plaistow YMCA's Commitment to Community Legacy Leader for his more than 50 years of dedicated service to the town of Plaistow, New Hampshire. And be it further known that the New Hampshire Senate extends its best wishes for continued success in the legislature as an integral part of his community. It's signed by myself, Senate President Chuck Morse, and Senator Reagan's here. We congratulate you. You're a great person, Norm.
I would like to ask Bob Warden to come up and say a few words.
The boys back of the room said, Bob, make sure it's just a few words, and I heard that. So I did write down my words, so I'm prepared and I'll be on time. But I have one set of unprepared words, and it's going to be, Norman and Brenda, you are the only 2 people in this country that I would put a suit on in 90-degree weather and go to a gymnasium. This is truly an honor. Senator Morse, elected officials, Honorable Norman, Brenda, the Major family, and my good neighbors. My partners, Eric Combs and Barbara St. Jean at Pinnacle PT, are really proud to support the efforts of the Plaistow YMCA. And Tracy, her staff, and the board of directors have done a wonderful job transforming this facility for our children and our residents. My greatest days as a child were enjoyed in a place that was just like this. Almost 60 years later, those kids I met in that facility are still my best friends. And I urge everyone here to support the YMCA generously so they can experience the same kind of joys that I did growing up. Norman, you remind me a lot of my childhood idol, President Kennedy. I know he was a Democrat, but he did govern with Republican principles. He was tall and he was handsome, and maybe that's a little bit of a stretch for you. You're only handsome. He inspired all of us to be players and not spectators, not only in physical fitness, but in public service. And locally, you've done this for many of my friends from Atkinson and Plaistow. In Atkinson, people like Greg Spiro, Billy Baldwin, Steve Lewis, Jason Grodsky, Steve Murphy. In Plaistow, Jay DeRoche, Steve Ranlett, my good friends Sue and John Sherman, Tricia Holt, Martha Sumner, countless others all come to mind. You and Brenda have inspired all of us to service for our communities, and this in itself is a legacy. During the last election, when you mentored me through my first run for town election in Atkinson, I quickly learned that your role, Norman, was to pound in signs and go to Concord for 12 hours a day. Brenda runs the show, the campaign. So it's mailing lists, greeting cards, phone calls, social media, leading Republican women across New Hampshire, all Brenda. It was then I realized Brenda drives the bus to not only make us a better community, but she has made you a better man. Hand for Brenda. I've had the distinct honor, Norman, of taking care of you the past 25 years. I've seen you at your highest and your lowest. Through it all, you always had a kind word, a gentle smile, a quiet determination, a steadfast resolve, and tremendous discipline. These are the traits that make you the man you are. I admire your ability to reach across the aisle, your sense of fairness, your ability to always do the right thing for Plaistow, the right thing for Atkinson, and the right thing for New Hampshire. Your legacy over 50 years of service to the Lions exemplifies service above self. Your legacy will last for generations with countless Boy Scouts and Eagle Scouts who have had the joy of hiking every mountain peak in New Hampshire. And lastly, your legacy will be passed on through your family and the 17 grandchildren and great-grandchildren who will bring the best Norm Major to the playing fields. You know, Norm, this isn't a retirement party, and this is no farewell. We just all wanted to take a moment in time to thank you and Brenda for making us all players. We all know that you have a lot left in the tank and many miles to go before you sleep. So we wanted to get you something special on this day. So the first thing we thought of, we were going to get you an all expenses paid trip to Bermuda, but you would just look ridiculous on a moped. And then Chuck Morse said, this is budget season, expenses down, revenue up. So what we decided to do is Barbara and I would like to present you with a gift for you and Brenda. It's a night at Brown's, the best in fine dining in New Hampshire, and a nice cold beverage to enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Great job, Bob. Moving on to our next speaker, I would like to welcome Selectman John Sherman.
Good evening. My speech will be a little different, but then I think you knew that when you saw my name on the program. When I was first asked to participate in the events tonight, It was my wife that mentioned it to me. She was on the board of directors, and she said they'd like you to speak at Norm's celebration. And I said, well, I can't do that. He's done way too many things for me to possibly list or talk about. And she said, no, you dope, in that loving way that she speaks to me. She said, there'll be someone else there that'll talk about that. Thank you. Then we said, well, it could be things about the state, about the town, or whatever. And I said, again, he's done way too many things. I couldn't possibly list them all. And she said again, in that loving tone, no, you dope. You don't have to do everything. Why don't you pick out one thing that you think's important? And I said, okay, I can do that. And it was easy. It's something I care desperately about, and I know Norm cares desperately about, and that is integrity. When you talk to Norm Major, you know that you're getting the full dope. It's not being colored, it's not being approved by a committee. It's what he believes, it's what he's researched, and he's willing to stand by what he said. Periodically, when my wife and I are driving in the car, I'll spring a spot quiz on her, and she doesn't like it. That's probably why she calls me a dope, but that's for another day. And I said, if there was a catastrophe in this country, and someone had to go on TV and explain the issue, and why we should care about it, and what the resolution is, who would you believe? Think about it on a national basis. I'm not talking politics. I'm not talking Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative. I'm just talking about who would you believe to give you the straight story? That's a tough one to answer. But at a local level, I know who that would be, and that would be Norm Major. When Norm Major gets up to speak, you know he's thought about what he's going to say. He cares about what he's going to say. It won't be filtered through some prism or some other kind of filter. It'll be exactly what he believes and what he thinks is the right thing to do. Not a lot of people like that, certainly not enough people like that. I had a recent issue as chairman of the Board of Selectmen. There was an incident that came up, and there was a question about whether it should be discussed at a Board of Selectmen's meeting or not. Norm, on his own, we were at the Blue and Gold banquet. Norm came up to me and said, you know, you really shouldn't talk about that at a Selectmen's meeting. That's not a Selectmen's issue. And I said, well, I agree with you, Norm, and that's what I had already decided. And then afterwards, it occurred to me, I accepted what he had to say openly. I had no question about the integrity of what he was saying. Other people have spoken to me about that issue, and they've said other things because they had other issues. Not Norm. He offered straight, full, sincere advice on his own, and that was tremendously appreciated by me, Norm. Over the years, it's been a pleasure to work with you, sir. You are an incredible asset to the town of Plaistow, to the community of Plaistow, to the state of New Hampshire. You've done wonderful things, and you deserve to be honored tonight, and I am pleased to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Selectman Sherman. We are going to introduce, I guess, the final call for the silent auction. So if you want to make any more last bids, please do that. We have a couple more presenters coming up as well. And then I guess we're going to start now with Rick Doucette is going to start the live auction. Okay, Rick, are you ready?
Hope so.
We have some great items that Rick's going to share about, but before we get to that, a few of you mentioned the Plaistow Community Y Board of Directors. If you are a member of the Board of Directors for the Plaistow Community Y, can you please stand up? These individuals give their time and talent and they have been helping to move this Y forward and are leaders in our community, and I couldn't be more proud to work side by side to continue to grow the Plaistow Community Y. So thank you very much, guys. I also want to say, anyone who's an elected official, whether you're a local town selectman, whether you are a state official, could you please stand up? Thank you so much for all that you do to help places like the YMCA become strong and be able to support as many kids and families and do the work that needs to happen in our community. So thank you all very much. So without further ado, I'm going to, here's Rick, auctioneer extraordinaire. Thank you. He needs a bigger round of applause than that.
That's all right. All right, for those of you, I mean, nobody knows me, so it's all right. For those who don't know me, I work at the Cape Ann YMCA in Gloucester, down in Massachusetts. And Mr. Major, I've never met you before, but I am duly impressed, and I think the fact that I haven't ever gotten to know you is my complete loss. And I aspire to be half the man, although I'm probably like 6 times the size. I aspire to be half the man that you are, and it's very obvious by this great turnout. I've been watching the pictures up on the screen. Thank you for making the world a better place.
I was actually a camper up at Camp Strickland Falls. I started going there when I was 6 years old, and I have been going ever since for the past 10 summers. So, my first day of camp, of course, it was very exciting. My mom, my brother, and I just moved to Haverhill from New Hampshire, so I had no friends. So my mom thought, what better idea than to sign them up for a camp. It was very exciting. I had never gone to camp before. I was very excited, but I was also terrified. Being 6 years old, I hated being away from my mom. So the idea of being away from her for so long really made me nervous. So I showed up to the YMCA, and there was my mom, signed me in, and then she said, okay, love you, I have to go to work. And that was where I lost it. I started thinking, I'm not gonna know anyone. No one is gonna wanna be my friend. I'm a new kid at camp, the staff don't know me, and I thought that that's how my day was gonna go. I was very wrong. My day was fantastic. Almost immediately, campers are coming up to me, staff are coming up to me, making sure that I was having the best time of my life. And that's how it was for the rest of the summer. And because of that first day, that wonderful experience, I have been going to Camp Strickland Falls every summer for the past 10 years of my life. At camp, of course, we learn a lot of things, such as learning to boat, learning to paddle in a boat, learning to do archery, to climbing a rock wall, which I never mastered because I am terrified of heights, and making awesome pieces of art out of sticks and pine cones. But we also learned a lot of very important things. Personally, I learned how to be confident in who I am as a person. Through this, there are a lot of staff that come and go throughout the years. And every single one of them are unique in their own ways. Some of them were very loud and outgoing, and some were more quiet and to themselves. Some of them had crazy colorful hair, and I remember one counselor was obsessed with doing magic card tricks. Like, that's not cool. To us, that was really, really cool, and all of them were so confident in who they were as a person, and their confidence was, radiant, and I view all of my counselors that I've had over the years as role models, and seeing them being confident in who they are as a person, because I struggled with my confidence for almost all of my life. I wanted to be confident in who I was as a person, and because of these counselors, being who they are and being so comfortable in their own skin made me confident in who I am. I also, we have these things called the core values. There's 4 of them, so there's caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. So caring, we know, of course, if you see a kid that is sitting by themselves at lunch, or they don't have a buddy to swim with at swimming, we were told, hey, show them that you care and go up to them and ask them if you want to be their buddy. Sit with them at lunch. I had a friend when I was in LAT who who was in foster care. So she used to say that she never really had a true family. But when she showed up to camp, she said, this is my family, because people cared about her, and that's very important to me, you know, showing everyone that you care, because through the YMCA and at the camp, we have kids come from all different kinds of backgrounds. We have kids that come from a family with a lot of money, kids that come from families that have little to no money, kids that have families to go home to, kids that don't. But showing them that we care about them every day can make them feel like amazing, and that is something so beautiful. When it comes to being honest, I had a counselor who used to always tell me, why lie? You know, the outcome is always going to be so much better if you tell the truth, and I take that with me even now. Responsibility. We were told to be responsible in not only like your bug spray, your bathing suits, your sunscreen, but be responsible in your actions. Be aware of what you're doing, what you say around certain people, what you do around certain people. Be aware that what you do and say can affect how, you know, a lot of people view you. And respect. The golden rule. Respect everyone, because like I said before, camp and the YMCA, they have a lot of kids that come from all different kinds of backgrounds, and just showing that you respect them can make their day amazing. I take all of this with me through school, because as all of us probably know, high school especially, kids can be extremely cruel, and they can make you feel so horrible about yourself. And growing up, you know, being not so confident myself, I would have really bad days where I'm like, I don't know where I belong. I don't know who I belong with in my friend group. I don't know who I am. But then I would think back to one of the staff. I was having a really bad day at camp, and he wrote me a note, and I have it to this day. It was about 5 years ago. I still have it. And he said, Courtney, you were very weird. You are unique, but that's something you should be extremely proud of, because that is why I think of you so highly. And to this day, when I'm having a horrible day, or, you know, I don't know, you know, I'm just not having a good day, I think of how amazing camp makes me feel, and that is something that every kid deserves. And now that I'm officially a camp counselor up at Camp Strickland Falls, I feel so honored to show these kids that it is okay to be who they are, that it is okay to be a little weird, to be a little unique, to, you know, just want to do magic all day long, that it is okay to be who you are. And I hope that all of you guys here today can help make every single kid to have that chance to go to camp and have that opportunity to feel and have the experience that I did as a camper, and hopefully one day be a camp counselor. So thank you.
An amazing job, Courtney, 16 years old. I would never in a moment think there were any confidence, self-confidence questions right there. But it is, she speaks the truth. I've been at camp for a lot of years. I've seen, literally, I have children of my campers now working for me. And all the things that Courtney talked about as far as changing lives, helping people raise their children are completely true. And it helps when folks in the community can step up and help the kids that might not otherwise come to camp, give them the opportunity to come to camp, and this is where you come in, even more than you already have.
Great job, Rick. Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone's generosity. And I have the privilege of coaching a lot of teams in this building, and when you see the kids come in here and play basketball or floor hockey and all the different sports, their eyes light up, and if they can't afford the fee, Tracy and the Y always let them play for free. And that's where these funds go to in camp, and it's a, giving back to your community is just fantastic. At this point, I would like to have all the Lions Club members stand up, please, for a big round of applause for all your support. Lenny, if everyone could stand up, please. I would like to introduce and have them come up here, Bob Gibbs and Al Goldstein, to say a few words.
I was thrilled when I was asked to say a few words about one of the most honorable people I know, Mr. Major. In preparation for this opportunity, it's always been Mr. Major to me. Well, except on the trip. In preparation for this opportunity, I started jotting down my favorite stories about hiking, camping trips, pool parties, and numerous other Boy Scout activities, and tried to pick one of my favorite ones to use this time, but I couldn't. The reason I couldn't is because it truly wouldn't do him justice to speak about just one event. I don't even think he knows how much influence he and his family's had and continues to have on my life. About 12 years ago, Mr. Major gave me some words of wisdom that helped me understand truly what it is to be a true parent. At age 7, my son Nick first entered Cub Scouts. Going through Boy Scouts myself, I was very excited to get the chance to experience scouting with him. It wasn't until the first year was over that he decided scouting wasn't for him. While I was very disappointed and didn't want to miss this opportunity, the decision was his to make. It wasn't until I spoke to Norm, better? Norm, at the Plaistow Commons shortly thereafter that I truly began to understand the bigger picture. I remember meeting him as it was like yesterday. We exchanged hellos, asked how the families were doing, and asked if we'd seen any old scouts. And then I began to tell him how disappointed I was with my son's decision to quit Scouts. Now, I brought the topic up with many other people and was continually told to try and stick with it, and eventually I'm sure he'll begin to like it. But Mr. Major had a much different view. He told me, and I might not have the words exact, Nick is part of Scouting. I laughed and said, I only wish. He began to explain to me how I was a Scout and followed all it stood for, and now I'm teaching my son those things that made me the person I am today. So he too is really a Scout. It was at that point, I think, I truly began to realize just how all things that I believe in were affecting everyone around me. My son now serves the Coast Guard. So as I look back at all those things and see just how honest and true the words truly were to me. So Mr. Major, your actions and support have made me a stronger person, and I will forever be grateful. Thank you.
Okay, how many people in this room are friends on Facebook with Brenda and Norm? How many people get a birthday wish? The other morning was my birthday. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, turned on my computer. Happy birthday, Al, Brenda and Norm. Amazing. Everything that's good that happens to us, everything that's bad that happens to us, they're right there by our side. So this past year I've been the district governor for Lions of New Hampshire, a great honor. And one of the nice things to do as governor is to go out and meet the people and to present them with different things. And I had the distinct honor this year to present Norm with his 50-year badge as a Lion. Long before Norm ever became a politician, he's been a Lion. He's been the president and every other office that the Plaistow Lions have. And he's been an inspiration to many, many of us. And we as Lions are proud to be part of this tonight. Norm, you are a wonderful man. You are an amazing mentor. And those of us that live in Atkinson couldn't have been more excited when you became our state representative as well. But from my heart and from my family, we wish you the best, and we thank you for everything that you do.
I would like to introduce the Speaker of the House of New Hampshire, Sean Jasper.
Thank you. You may notice that my name is not on the program for tonight, and that really is my fault. We've been a little bit busy lately. I knew I was going to be here, but we didn't really talk about coming and making a presentation tonight. We've been tied up with that little thing called the budget, which we just settled yesterday. Now, what you all know, obviously, that Norm is a community treasure. What I hope you also realize is he is actually a state treasure as well. Is Senator Reagan still here? If he is, close your ears for a minute. Chuck may not want you to hear this. But when it comes to revenues, and you know, when you hear ways and means, what does that mean? Well, it's what are the ways and what are the means we're going to raise revenues by? And for both the House and the Senate, really, there is one person that we look to tell us what those revenues are going to be, and that's Norm. He is incredible. And so, you know, I had the privilege of serving on Ways and Means for 4 terms, 2 terms with Norm as my chairman. And I certainly learned a lot during that period of time. I've now had the pleasure of appointing him chairman of Ways and Means twice, one of the very best decisions that I have made as speaker. And I think the president would probably agree with me that we want to make sure you stay healthy and stay there in the State House as long as we do, because when you're gone, I don't think we have a plan B at this point as to how we figure out our revenues if you're not there. So we need you there. So thank you for all you do. I've got a little declaration here from the House, so I'll take a minute to read. Whereas Norm L. Major, a native of Keene, New Hampshire, and a graduate of the University of New Hampshire, settled in the town of Plaistow in 1962, where he and his wife Brenda would raise their family of 4 boys. And whereas Norm has devoted many years to his town, serving as moderator for both the school and town, as a member of the Budget Committee and on the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and whereas the greatest legacy a leader can leave behind is having developed future leaders. And whereas Norm has devoted a lifetime to the Boy Scouts of America, which included 25 years leading a backpack training program as Yankee Clipper Council Commissioner for 5 years, and guiding 3 sons and 2 grandsons to the highest award in Boy Scouts, the Eagle Scout Award. And whereas in recognition of his dedication to the Scouting program, Norm Major received the prestigious Silver Beaver Award, a distinguished service award approved by the National Court of Honor and presented to adult leaders who have made an impact on the lives of the youth. And whereas Norm Major has also represented the town of Plaistow in the New Hampshire House of Representatives since 1997 and has served as chair or vice chairman of the all-important Ways and Means Committee 6 times, therefore be it declared that the New Hampshire House of Representatives, by virtue of the Speaker's signature inscribed below, extend its highest accolades and plaudits to Norm L. Major for being honored as the legacy leader in the town of Plaistow, for his lifetime commitment to his community. Sean N. Jasper, Speaker of the House.
Thank you, Sean. I gotta give you a hug.
At this time, I would like to introduce our last speaker, Mr. Stephen Lewis.
When I walked in here, Greg asked me would I read this communication from the governor, and I want you to know, Norm, he was planning to be here tonight, but his wife went out. They found out that she was winning an award, an educational award, and it's tonight. So I understand he had to make a choice, and his wife went out, Norm. But anyway, it says, State of New Hampshire, by His Excellency Christopher T. Sununu, Governor, a commendation in the year of our Lord 2017, Representative Norm Major. Whereas the YMCA is dedicated to strengthening the foundation of community through a focus on youth development, social responsibility, and healthy living, and whereas the YMCA commitment to community honors those who have gone above and beyond the community that they are part of and those who seek to make their communities healthier and safer places to live. And whereas Representative Norm Major, who has served his community not just in the State House, but as a member of the Plaistow Lions Club since 1966, presiding over the club since 1979, and volunteers for the Boy Scouts of America, and quite frankly, you are Mr. Boy Scout of America, as well as serve the town and school district moderator for the town of Plaistow. And whereas Representative Norm Major has made his mark on the community of Plaistow with his over 60 years of dedicated, tireless service to the town. And whereas Representative Major has exemplified the principles of hard work and dedication during his 11 terms in the State House and continues to serve his state with exuberance and pride. Now, therefore, I, Christopher T. Sununu, Governor of the State of New Hampshire, do hereby commend Representative Norm Major for his continued passion, his dedication to making Plaistow a healthier and safer place to live. I congratulate him on receiving this recognition from the YMCA. Congratulations, Norm.
Wow. I really don't know what to say. All I can say is thank you. I look out and I see friends that I've worked with and scouted with, do other things. The Lions Club members, the Knights of Columbus, the Historical Society, the town, the county officials, the state officials, and above all, my family and friends. As you know, my wife was here earlier. She had to come in a little late because she just... she had just gotten out of the hospital. She wanted to be here. And so she had to leave. So I hope you get that. I would be nothing if it wasn't for my wife. She means everything to me, everything to my family. And I can't thank her enough. Nothing was going to tie her down for not being here. You can see how important it was. And I thank all of you for being here tonight, too. Thank you.
Thanks again to Norm for allowing us to celebrate his commitment to the community and the Y's commitment to the community. And I know that he knows how much the support tonight will mean to so many kids and families and impact so many lives. So thank you, Norm, from the bottom of my heart, and for all the kids and families at the Y that will benefit. Thank you. So tonight, in honor of Brenda, her birthday is December 26th. So at your tables, whoever has a birthday closest to December 26th gets to take home the centerpiece. So, and all of us to think of Brenda and have her in our thoughts, you can take that centerpiece home. I think Brenda probably wants one. I do want to thank a couple quick things. Joan Fredericks, where are you? Joan Fredericks made all of these centerpieces, and her daughter made all the cupcakes. So huge round of applause. And I saw our youngsters enjoying them, so I know that they're delicious. I also want to thank our friend and board member Jim Bork. So Kelly and Amos are back. Our bartenders have been fantastic. They donated their time tonight. We're so appreciative of this. They were fantastic. Thank you. And last but not least, I'm going to pull the 50-50 raffle. So without further ado, I'm going to make Greg pull it. So if it's, you get mad, you can get mad at him. It's $420. We raised $840. The difference will go to support our kids at the Y, and the winning ticket is 872-418. 872-418.
Are you kidding me?
Congratulations. Nice job, Pete.
What I'd like to do is give this money back so a couple more kids can.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. That concludes tonight's event. Our auction items are over at the table. Please take the centerpieces. I hope all of you had a great time. I hope all of you learned a little bit about the Y. We learned a lot about Norm, and we're lucky to have people like him in our community. So thank you very much. Have a great evening.